If someone were only going to remember one thing from today's discussion, what would you want that to be?
We didn't really talk about how big the burden is, but the fact that problems of diagnostic quality are a real substantial burden, but there are many different ways one can get started making an impact on improving quality. Many ways to make it better.
I was going to say the one thing I would remember is that we all have a role and a contribution to reducing the harm from diagnostic error. So it's definitely a team sport.
That's what I was going to also say, that we all have a role to play in improving diagnosis so that we have better outcomes for patients.
Well, I would just add that there really is no voice more important than the voice of the patient in this. I always think about, and maybe I shouldn't, but I always think about Sir William Osler saying the patient is telling you the diagnosis. I think when I talk to patients, the thing I hear most often is that patients feel listened to, and they feel that that leads to harm and that leads to missed diagnoses. So I think we need to always keep that in mind.
Pardeep, any closing thoughts for the panel?
I was going to say that it's just not one thing. I mean, that's the whole point about this being so hard. There's not one thing. If I had one solution or only one thing to say, it would just make it so much easier. If people want to know what thing to look at and see, hey, can I do something tomorrow? Just, go look at, something concrete on diagnosis, maybe read a paper or something. It's just not the one thing. There's no one solution. There's no one takeaway. You probably don't want to bucket this complex, important topic into one thing, except maybe just say that we're missing fairly common conditions despite obvious red flags. And it's just not one thing that's going to fix this problem.